Hello, all of you too.
Hello.
My name is Wayne Tooker, and welcoming you here this evening. Thank you very much for taking time from your lives to come here and experience this wonderful evening. This is an evening with Troupe, which comes from a unity celebration that we did about 3 months ago, I think, or 2 months ago, where we have these multicultural evenings where we bring different types of dance, music, poetry, and art to kind of bring the different cultures together and offer an experience to the audience that might stimulate something, instincts inside of them, understanding that we're all one big rainbow family here on the earth. So we're pleased to have this evening, which goes from that first evening. Another thing about our multicultural evenings is that music, dance, poetry, and art began with human beings reaching for their spiritual relationship with the divine, or having superpowers for war or for peace or whatever. So in these evenings I wanted to bring out this concept of where all these things came from originally. But now we use them mostly for entertainment, because they easily transform our emotions, the way that we're feeling and thinking. And in the beginning we used these pictures and these dances and this music to stimulate the emotional body of people to be consonant with what they needed to do, whether it be more peaceful or stronger. So tonight we have this incredible combination of the stars. Why the stars? Because Orion, for the ancient Egyptians, was Osiris. And the temples and the pyramids obviously are connected to the celestial beings or celestial world. But in the manifestation of the Middle Eastern dance, which comes from Egypt, we have one of the most exquisitely sensual and physical dances on the planet. So we're connecting very far away kind of intellectual light ideas with very human concepts. And when someone dances, obviously, it transforms them and heals them in whatever way the dance imposes. And this dance tonight moves every part of the body. And as we watch it, if we breathe, our bodies will be transformed as well. And so there's a big healing aspect to this, and a celebration of the human body and emotions and how they're connected to our expression, our communication with each other. So tonight it's a specifically female empowerment, this type of dance, which any woman would become more a woman doing the dance and even watching the dance. So this is especially exciting for us guys who are out of touch with our female aspects. Right? But when we did it 2 months ago, everybody in the audience was, even Bo had isolated his rib cage, so everybody here can do it if you allow yourselves. So the group, Troupe Isis, the greatest of the females, has been together about 10 years. Some of the dancers are new to performing in front of people, and some have performed in front of people a long time. And as you watch them, you will see in the varied forms of preparation how their bodies move and how they've learned to move in another way, being a more full expression of all that were possible. So we have 5 goddesses that will meet tonight. But the lady who kind of created all of this and has degrees in psychology and fine arts, but has been dancing for over 3 decades all over the world. I mean, on Nile cruises, obviously, in Egypt, and has spent 30 years, half of the year, in Egypt. So she is personally a bridge between Egypt and the West, and has been teaching this to people for all these years and sharing it. So many women have come into a fuller bloom of their femaleness, and she has also shared this with the populations. Her name is Katrina Valenzuela, and I feel she's a dear friend. She's a spiritual person, ran transformations here for 27 years, I think, a spiritual center on Barcelona Harbor. And so I'd like to invite Katrina Valenzuela, who is Khadija, as the dancer.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Makes me feel very, very ancient. I've been doing these things for 20, 30 years.
Yes,
So the name Khadija, I chose that a long time ago, and it has become the name that people know me by in Egypt. And Khadija was the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, his one and only wife. And she told him when she was dying who he would marry next, and he did. So she was not a woman who followed Muhammad, she was the one who made most of the decisions. Not that this is true in my marriage, but Khadija was a very, very much respected woman. And so, where am I going here? I'm going to have to answer to this later. So I came up with this idea of having each of my students choose a goddess based on the one that they most resonated with at that time. And I've been doing this with my college students for some time now. And at first they all cringe and they say, oh, that means research. But once they get into it, they realize that the goddesses really are speaking to them and to humanity. And when they find one that they resonate with, they can't get enough of the information about her. And so each one, and tonight you'll be seeing 5 of the dancers, but there are a number of others, and you'll see them, they're wearing a costume type called alabeya. And they will be dancing at the next performance along with others. So this is open to all women who want to come to classes and work toward eventually performing, or some don't ever want to perform, but they help out with all the many things that go into a performance. So I thought we would just have a very brief little view of Egypt. This is a photo of the Temple of Hathor in Dendera, which is Upper Egypt. And it was taken by my husband, who's over here all in black, with the big dimples. And it's one of my favorite photos that he's taken. It's on my website, the opening page of my website. And it really draws you in. And this is actually a staircase going up, but it's been worn over 4,000 years. So it has a very worn look to it. And then it turns and it goes up again. And this is leading up to the rooftop of the Temple of Dendera. And we can go to the next one. The Temple of Isis, one of my favorites. And this is where, when I have my groups in Egypt, we get up very early and we take a felucca, which is a beautiful silent sailboat. From our cruise ship, we go over to the Temple of Isis, which is just a jewel floating on the Nile at the first cataract, so it's very southern, almost to the border of Nubia and Sudan. And it's one of the lightest of all the temples. This is just a very brief, small view of the Egyptian goddesses. There are hundreds of gods and goddesses. Egyptians didn't worship animals. Egyptians were very keen observers of nature and human nature. And they realized that there are certain qualities that people have. And so they were the gods and goddesses represented aspects of human nature. Some believe there are actual beings who lived and died. Whatever your belief system, many things in our lives have been influenced by the Egyptian mythology. And so these are just some of the goddesses. And we can go to the next slide, which always, if you have any connection with ancient times, ancient Egypt, this is a scene that makes everyone a little bit weepy. And especially if you see this from an aerial view when you're flying in over the pyramids, it's just breathtaking. The pyramids were built to such precision that we could not build them today with all our technology. We could not build the Great Pyramid. It's that perfect. And it's aligned to 1 degree of north. So it's perfectly balanced, not only to the directions, but the tunnels that go through and come out to the sides, kind of involved to think about it. But they align precisely to the star system Sirius and Orion. So we know that the ancient Egyptians had extensive knowledge of the star systems, of geometry, of They were very, very advanced. We even have on the temple walls step-by-step brain surgery. And it was engraved in the temple wall 4,000 years ago. And I've taken surgeons to Egypt and they were awestruck. And they said, these are the same tools that we have lined up beside us when we're doing brain surgery. So the Egyptians really were brilliant people. We don't know how they got so much knowledge, if it was from some extraterrestrial beings or how this came about. But once you get into Egypt, it's just all-encompassing. The Sphinx, these erosion patterns on the sides of the Sphinx, Dr. Professor Schock of BU, the top geologist in the world, spent decades studying this, and he determined that these could only be formed by ocean, by salt water against the Sphinx over many, many years. And so there was a time before the Great Flood when Giza Plateau had water. And the Great Flood is recorded in all countries. And so the Sphinx still holds many, many secrets. And we've all, if we've studied anything about the ABKC material, we know that beneath the paw of the Sphinx, left paw, there is a tunnel, and the tunnel leads all the way back to the Great Pyramid. And it has been found, there are chambers down there. It's top secret, nobody can go there. And there's also a world battle about who would own it if they were allowed to go there. The Japanese, the Germans, all the countries who have this kind of money to put behind it, they all want access. And I feel personally, what's in Egypt belongs to Egypt. And Egypt should have first choice. We don't have the money. But somebody's trying to buy Egypt and buy that chamber. But it is said that in that chamber is the entire history of humanity since the beginning of time. So we have an exciting discovery to move forward. Okay, what is next on our slides? That's it. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about it. What happens, turn it down? I will be doing a presentation here next month on ancient Egypt, and I have lots of slides, lots of stories, and also current day Egypt, because I've been there right up until the time of the Revolution. And that will be a free lecture. Be sure and sign our mailing list. It's the only way you'll know what's going on. As you can see, this was not in the Cape Cod Times. We hope that things will be in the future. But if you sign the mailing list, you'll know when the free lecture is on ancient Egypt. And after that, I am doing a series on the ancient mystery school teachings. So lots going on here at the Unity Center. So I would like you to relax, let yourself go on a journey. Imagine that you're getting on one of those feluccas on the Nile, and just go on this little trip with us and meet some of the goddesses. And thank you for coming tonight. Our first dancer tonight shows the goddess Selene. Selene is the goddess of the moon and was depicted as a woman in a chariot drawn by a pair of winged steeds. White and silver surround her, and the lunar sphere or crescent moon is worn on her forehead. Ruby chose the moon goddess Selene because she has a strong connection with the phases of the moon and the influence the moon has on birthing. As a doula for many years, Ruby is passionate about supporting women through the phases of pregnancy, birth, and motherhood. This is Ruby's first time performing for an audience. So I'd like you to give a warm welcome to the beautiful, enchanting Ruby. don't know about you, but I would never think that was her first performance. That was beautiful. Our next performer chose the Egyptian cat goddess Bastet, or Bast. Bastet was highly regarded as a protector of all cats, who were thought to be her incarnation. They were considered mysterious, wise, and godlike, and harming a cat was a crime punishable by death, which is as it should be. Royal cats were entombed with fine jewelry and treasure, and buried in the royal chamber. Samra has chosen Bastet because she is a great lover of cats, and she expresses both the playfulness and the grace of her feline nature. Please welcome Samra.
Sekhmet is the warrior goddess who represents fierce compassion. As a lioness, she is both protective and loving and will advocate for any who have been wronged. Working on behalf of Maat, the goddess of justice, Saira was born in Africa and relates with the strength of Sekhmet. The survival of Africa rests upon the endurance and strength of her daughters who keep the community alive. Saira dedicates her dance to the fierce protective spirit of her African sisters.
Yeah.
next dancer is Bedrea. Bedrea tonight is performing as Hathor. Hathor is the goddess of music, art, dance, and all things that beautify and bring joy to the world. There are many myths of Hathor's association with the 7 stars of the Pleiades and her origins in that realm. Bedrea has chosen Hathor because she also embodies joy, romance, harmony, and femininity. She is happiest when she is dancing and expressing the spirit of Hathor.
would like to explain to those of you who are new to belly dancing that what Renee was doing with such ease and grace, the rest of us have yet to accomplish. To shimmy for that amount of time takes a lot of muscle strength and a lot of endurance. So congratulations for pulling it off and making it look easy, because it's not. Our last goddess of the evening is Isis, the mother goddess, and part of the first triad of the Holy Family, consisting of Isis, Osiris, and Horus. When her partner, Osiris, was murdered by Set, Isis searched the world to retrieve him, and using her magic restored him to life. They conceived their only child, Horus, who went forth to heal the wrongdoings of his people. Khadija's dance tells the story of Isis's loss of her beloved, her victory over darkness, and then her return to joy. Please welcome Khadija.
Well, I trust that all of you enjoyed our journey through Egypt. And our policy is always leave the audience wanting more. So we will be back. There will be more goddesses, more fun. Spread the word. We're available to do this program at schools, libraries, civic centers. If you belong to any kind of organization, we will come and do this presentation. So talk to me after if you'd like. And everyone, remember that magic is afoot because the goddess is alive. Have a wonderful weekend. Ma salama.